wasn't surprised. Chicago was opening up. My name was rising. It felt like the right people was hearing my music at the right time. It was love, far as I could see. But I can honestly say I wasn't surprised. Late nights recording in random places like warehouse, a couple of my friends' apartment. Shit, wherever I was allowed to be loud. Nights wasn't always good. But hey, I never complained. Shit, I embraced it.
Yo, man. Shout out to Boo Man Forever for that intro. Today we got a good one, man. We got a retake, but it's a good one.
Hey.
Shout out to the gods from 1937 group in the building with me.
What's up?
What's up, man? We got my man Alex over here, Ambrose. He's rolling up a backwood over here patiently.
Yes, sir.
What's up with y'all, man? First of all, real quick, I want to apologize for the last time losing the episode. I'm grateful you guys understood and came back and give me an opportunity to redeem myself.
No, it's all good, man. We don't have no problem coming out, chopping it up, smoking some good dro with you, man.
Yeah, much love, man.
Yes, sir.
So, man, congratulations on getting your dispensary up, right?
Yeah.
The Hill and Bus.
Parkway Dispensary out, we out now. Come holler at us.
The flower ball finally went down.
Flower ball went down, we doing our thing out here, but we still going.
Yeah. So for everybody that don't know about you, give them a little small introduction before we get deeper into this conversation about what you guys are doing, man.
Yeah, so this is Ambrose Jackson, CEO of the 1937 Group. Got my partner Alex here, our Chief Strategy Officer, and 1937 Group. We just a cannabis company that focuses on the culture, doing things the right way. Vertically integrated here in Illinois. At some point, we might have some tentacles outside of Illinois, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, we got three kind of pillars within what we do. So one is cannabis on the cannabis operator side, cultivation, retail, transport. Outside of that, we have a company, KVL International, which deals with brand development and event production. And then lastly, we have our impact arm, the 1937 Foundation. And so, we're really excited to get things going on that side a little bit more.
So how did it all start for you guys, man, with this journey?
4 years ago, 5 years ago. I mean, shit, when did we start? Applications, I think, we started that in like 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it started with being vilified and, stigmatized for fucking smoking weed or selling weed or whatever it is, we did for way back in the day. Just dealing with that and finding our way just like anybody and everybody. And then just fast forward 2018, Illinois starts talking about a social equity program, adult use. And yeah, just looking at their the criteria for social equity, it's like, hey, I've been arrested for weed before. Let me go ahead and put my hat in this ring and see what the fuck I can do,
Yeah. So going through that, man, dealing with the shit that we got growing up, getting arrested for weed and shit. Now it's fucking recreational medical use, and and as far as like closing doors and opening doors, do you feel like going through your journey that you had a lot of closed doors that you couldn't open?
What do you like? What do you mean? Because honestly, I feel like
in the cannabis
with our people, every door is closed, or what I'm
bust
saying.
That bitch open.
Yeah.
There's hurdles and barriers put in front of us at every turn with everything, in every industry. So say a little bit more.
As far as like being an independent and trying to become a distributor or a dispensary here in Chicago or in Illinois, like the hurdles you guys encountered.
Yeah. I mean, so
as far as being a smaller dispensary instead of one of these big corporations dispensaries, I'm pretty sure like they didn't have to deal with challenges like you guys had to deal with challenges, right?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing stems from a couple things, right? Number one is when they started this application process and when they were supposed to award these licenses, that was multiple years ago. That was back, before the COVID era, right? And so everything got delayed multiple years, and so by the time people actually get these licenses, the whole market's changed, right?
Yeah.
So all your assumptions on how much money you're gonna make, right? All your assumptions on how much it was gonna cost to build your facility out, like all your assumptions on how easy it would be to find investors, all that shit went in the trash, And so like that fucked up a lot of people, really. Like that's why you see that not that many people, really being able to get over the threshold to become operational with a social equity license, right? And so you take that and you just compound it by this program, which, like you could say they had the right, thinking behind it to a degree, right? But, the reality is like you create a social equity program, you give a bunch of people, that, have lived in DIA areas or been arrested multiple times. And like, you give them a piece of paper and you say, all right, go ahead and open a business. And without any type of financial support, they don't have no access to money to open a business, and so they just like get preyed upon until the point they just give up, and like again, that's another issue we've been seeing.
So for your application fee, was there like a fee? Like how much was the fee?
Like it was well, like that's the thing, yeah. So I mean, when we went through the process, it was way different than the most recent process, right? So our fee was like $2,500. Right, just to submit an application, and now the most recent one was 500, right? But like the real difference is, we had to put together a multi-100-page document of standard operating procedures dictating how we're going to operate every single aspect of our business in this regulated environment that we've never even been exposed to. And in order to do that, with all security plans, floor plans, and everything, like you needed to come up with money to pay. Different vendors, contractors, things like that to just do some of this shit that's like, there's no way you would know how to do, right? And so, like that in itself is what costs a lot of money. They with this most recent round of license applications, they threw all that out the window. They just said, look, just check some boxes, pay us $500 and we'll put your name in the lottery. So like that, like that was a lot easier like this time around. Like we wasn't worried about that though. We already rolling, so we didn't even apply for this most recent round.
Oh, okay. So you all good now, established, because you guys got your little dispensary now, right?
Mm-hmm. It's more like I like as a company that's focused around like equity and inclusion and trying to help create a more diverse ecosystem. Like we came out the gate with a vertically integrated set of licenses, and we've been running and building on that already for years. And so with the most recent round of licenses, it's like we didn't apply not because we didn't want to or because we couldn't. It was more so just our commitment to helping other people get in the game. And so we held multiple workshops helping other people go through the process of learning and applying for licenses, and even a couple of them won licenses, what I'm saying? And so that's where our focus, shifted to.
Oh, just the community base of teaching people how to get the knowledge and what they got to do, instead of like all these other people that failed and didn't get told what to do because they never experienced that kind of business before, because this is the first of its kind, right? Opening it up, basically.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
I was going to say too that the license itself, the license fee wasn't that expensive, but what was expensive is if you didn't write your application on your own, which we did, you'd have to pay a consultant, an attorney, many of which were gouging, $50,000. So
just to fucking write up a
just
paperwork.
to write up, provide some guidance, and I personally know a lot of people that did that and still didn't win a license,
Yeah.
So it was very competitive.
So that's why I encourage you guys to open up a workshop to teach our people to.
I think once we got rolling, then it was, it's always been part of our, the way we move is just helping folks, and providing, using our platform to help others. But I would say it made our situation a little bit easier, raising capital. It was still very difficult, but we were lucky enough to win multiple licenses, so transportation, retail, and cultivation. And so from that standpoint, we leveraged those 3 licenses to go out, and it made more sense for investors to want to participate in a vertically integrated business as opposed to like a one-off license.
So you got like 3 stages going of cannabis community.
So from their standpoint, it was it mitigated some of the risks, right? Because if you have only a retail dispensary and you don't have a grow, you're essentially your success is contingent on so many other factors, right? Whereas if you're vertically integrated, you can you can
especially
provide your own dispensary or multiple dispensaries product, and not really have to, you're somewhat incubated from the overall market to some degree. You're protected a little.
So since you got your grower license, so you're able to grow your own bud, and then you got your transportation license, you transportation your own bud to your own dispensaries now, right?
Yep. And others, obviously.
Yeah.
Now
For
that our first dispensary is
Yeah.
open, it's it's been exciting to be able to like deliver product to your dispensary. It was like, we took a picture of the first delivery van and was like, this is a big milestone, and a big accomplishment. It was pretty cool, actually.
It was a beautiful thing to see. Like to your point, right? Something we've been working on for years.
Yeah.
With no guarantee that we were gonna ever be successful, and in fact, like that again, the odds against us that we would ever be successful. And then just again, after all these years of just grinding it out, not quitting, getting to the point where we're able to see our own flower getting transported by our own transport vehicle to our own dispensary, right? And that was just recently.
Did you guys take it the first ride together? Did you guys?
No, to be honest, we've been so busy with everything. I mean, I think that one slipped past us.
Yeah.
It was more of wow, that happened today. Like, wow.
Just to fucking think like 4 years ago, right? 5 years ago for you guys to dream this shit up, and then that first load to fucking finally get delivered, and you guys are like, fucking wow.
But you're still climbing the uphill battle though, So it's like once you get your shops open, your businesses stood up. Cannabis is a very egregious business financially. Right?
Yeah.
So the taxes are substantially higher than any other industry. There's all these other things. There's no guarantee that just because you have a legal cannabis business or a license that you're gonna make all this money. I think it's a lot of like fluff. We've seen the opposite, not from a standpoint of making money, but like all of the contractors that you hire, when they find out it's a cannabis related business, they want to charge you
Extra.
2 or 3 times more. Like, oh, they must be rolling in the dough. Real estate is more expensive. They try, either if you're buying it, it's a higher price. If you're leasing it, it's a higher rent.
No shit.
So it never stops, never a dull moment.
So that's their way of getting back to people that want to run their own cannabis community business, basically.
The
right?
government wants their piece somewhere.
Everybody trying to make a buck off of it,
Yeah. So dealing with some of the up and downs of chasing this, man, it get to a point where you guys almost quit.
Did it get to a point where we almost quit? That's an interesting question. I'll tell you one thing, man. Like, I've never gotten to the point where I ever thought I was gonna quit.
Yeah.
I never got to the point where I ever thought I wasn't gonna make it. However, I've had multiple points where I've almost like been in situations that like completely just fucked us over and shut us down, and it's just been being able to like figure it out, problem solve, like pivot, adapt. That's the only way that you can be successful in this fucking industry.
Yeah. Like, for instance, the flower ball the first time, right?
Right.
Everything was fucking set up to go.
People flying in from all over the country. I mean, it was a big deal.
It was a big fucking deal, dude. It was amazing. I'm glad you guys got that off, but how'd you guys deal with that, man? Like,
bro, no, I don't think any other startup company would have been able to come back from that, like rebound. Like we put a lot of money into that, right? Because that's what makes us different, right? Whether it's KVL, it's like it's the higher production value, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever we do, like we always in the top tier. We do it the best, right? And so sometimes it takes more time, takes more money, takes more effort, right? But at the end, it's gonna pay off. And then in that situation, nah, it didn't pay off. We were in a big hole right afterwards, right? So we had to figure out how to what to do from there,
And then dealing with all the vendors, everybody, and all that shit afterwards, right? And money probably spent already too, right?
I mean, to that
on
point,
other things.
a lot of people would have just thrown in the towel and been like, "Yo, we're not doing this again," And we were just like, "Let's find a way,"
So what was the big issue that, if you guys don't mind talking about the issue, why it didn't happen?
So really, I mean, we try not to harp on this, but at the end of the day, we were developing such a buzz as a newcomer into the industry, and we didn't even have no product out or anything at that time. And like there was a current operator in Illinois that, you know, basically, you know, called the city, tipped them off, and basically initiated us getting looked into, investigated, and shut down. And you know, without that tip, like this shit would have went off just fine, because that location, that venue has all types of events all the time, you know, that don't need a permit. But it just so happened because they looked into it, like, yeah, the venue doesn't have a permit, so you guys can't do it, you know?
And there's I've been to plenty of events, bro. They're pretty fucking big, and I'm just like, yo, this shit is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like people just chilling, smoking weed, doing whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But and just to be shut down, I was just like, man, that's just crazy. Like, why they shut it down? And you guys this is the night before, right?
Right, yeah. Right. So I mean, it was some hater shit that got us shut down. But at the end of the day, again, like within less than 24 hours, we still flipped it. We still turned around. We still did something for the people, and I think that shows the people a lot more about us than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the reason why we ended up losing so much was because we ended up refunding everybody their money, and then at the very last minute, pivoting. You know, our headliner act, you know, still performed. Shout out to Vic Mensa. He came through and performed at the Promontory for us, and we ended up just throwing that for free.
And the people came through and gave support too, man. It was like late minute, last minute thing. It was just like, oh shit, it was still a packed house. Everybody came through and still.
Right. And then the other thing too is, you know, with any kind of minor setback, I always try and use it as a launching pad to something bigger, right? And so, you know, like coming out of that event that we still did anyways is a relationship that we kind of progressed and moved forward with Bootman, the artist, right?
Yeah.
And so like that was the beginning of us really started fucking with him, and we started rocking with him even more. And so, you know, he been like a real part of the team since then, and we've been doing some different things that we're excited about and still, you know, working on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. He's your first official rapper, right? For 1937 group, or basically the whole team, right?
Yeah. We sponsored him, yo.
So the Hill and Bus too. I seen the video and production on that. By the way, it looked fucking amazing. Like how you guys had it all set up. Tell me a little bit how that gets started for you guys.
So how did the bus get started? I want to say that the bus got started, like, you know, honestly, it's like this whole, like, this area you get into with manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Like you just put something out there. If you can think of it, like you can make it happen, right? And so I think it really started with me and Alex just talking. I think he brought up the idea of us getting a bus.
Yeah, we wanted to do something, you know, kind of creating our own identity, you know.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, we had already kind of built a pretty good organic following locally, and, you know, we want to be known as like an Illinois cannabis group, right?
Yeah.
And build a name for ourselves. And currently in the United States, you know, a lot of the bigger brands are coming from the West Coast, right? From the cannabis side of a brand. And rightfully so, that's where the experience is, right? But
it's been there.
It's been there for a minute, right? But, you know, Ambrose and I have always been like real intentional about curating an identity that's different from other people, and our own in-house brands that we're working on building. And so, I think like we were just talking one day about like different stuff that we could do, you know, to leverage it with all the other stuff that we've got going on with artists and art and fashion, you know, like the runway show, and just creating a different kind of vibe. And now we're in 140 stores too, so we felt like by creating somewhat of a mobile bus, we could leverage the branding thing, take it to different dispensaries, you know, pop up for, you know, for the bud tenders. The bud tenders support us pretty heavily, so that's been an amazing thing. And we just thought about ways in which we could make that happen, you know, and then you know, Ambrose, you know, wrote a grant for the foundation, and he called me, I think, one day and was just like, hey, you know, what if we could create like the bus concept, but we could use, you know, this as the foundation's mobile like work, you know, office, right?
Like just move all the way around.
But the thought was brilliant because, you know, having a brick and mortar location, if you're serving the inner city communities that need, you know, the services, a lot of them, you know, are barely getting by. Like they may not even be able to afford, you know, a bus ticket to get those services. And so if we could bring the bus with those services to the community, right? And then the cannabis side could sponsor the wrap and like, you know, use it during different times for different events when it's not in use, right? Like that would be a good way to kind of serve both purposes and do it very effectively, right? And so, yeah, that's kind of how it got started.
And then the other thing too is, right, like everything that we do is like we try to like put our own spin to it, right? Like we're not out here trying to just copy people and be like, oh, what's Cookie's doing, or oh, like Sesh bus, like oh, it's real popping, let's get our own bus and just put 1937 on it. It's like, nah, like really our not-for-profit organization owns the bus, and the primary purpose is to go out and provide, you know, mental health services to the communities that need it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just so happens that, you know, we also could potentially use it for other things too, right?
Yeah, while in the process of serving the community, you know? And that's cool too, because it's like, I seen the video. Was that like, are you guys going to have setups like that too? Like when you go out there and set people up, or are you going to have like a guest like every place you go, or is that your plan to like,
man, I think
to bring like more mental health things to where it's like mentorships there in that community, you know, to help with more having these discussions about mental health?
Yeah. So actually, I'll tell you a little bit more about that, right? So our not-for-profit organization is called the 1937 Foundation, right? And as Alex mentioned earlier, I wrote a grant for R3 funding, which is money that comes from the tax dollars, right, spent, you know, on cannabis in Illinois, right? And a portion of it goes into this R3 fund to help out, you know, the community, right? Put back into the community. So I was like, man, let me go ahead and write a grant, try and do something to support our community engagement activities. And so, yeah, long story short, I want a grant really for 3 years for $800,000 each year. So that pretty much provided like the launching point for us to start moving forward.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we're just in the starting phase right now. Like, you know, we haven't gotten our first check yet. You know what I'm saying? But like that should happen. In the meantime, though, we're prepping everything. We're getting everything prepared. We are getting some events planned. But then also when it comes to just our primary activities, right? I talked about like wanting to address. So the purpose is really to address people who've been impacted by violence and have trauma associated with it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the number one premise of who it is that, you know, we're trying to help. And especially when you talk about Black men, right? Like dealing with violence in their past, like, you know, like they might have trauma, but they don't talk about it, you know. You
Yeah, 100%.
talk about that shit. And in some cases, like you talk positively about it, but the reality is also it manifests this way in different like negative coping mechanisms, right? Based off of, you know, certain life experiences. And so yeah, we wanted to engage that community and really bring them into the fold and talk about and provide, you know, real like therapy, right? Group therapy as a starting point for healing, right? And so as we kind of continue down this path and working backwards, we're like, all right, well, who's going to be the therapist? So we start looking for therapists, and it's like, you know, we're not finding anybody that looks like the people that we're trying to help. You know, you're a Black man living in the inner city.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
White lady, like therapist, right? Like if this is your first time trying to deal with this. And so, you know, at the end of the day, what it came down to is like we realized there are a lack of certified therapists that are Black men. You know, if you take 10 people that are therapists, like, and you just do the math, like, and you just look at one of them, right, in terms of the like how many could be a Black male therapist, it's like 1/10 of one person in that mix is the current, like, you know, support that we have out there. So like, I guess my point is, you know, the other activity that we've pivoted to and we're going to focus on is a drive, an initiative to certify 20 Black men in therapy, group therapy, specifically trauma coaching.
Oh, that's pretty badass, bro.
So yeah, so when you talk about what we're going to be doing, like in the bus, right, it was like those types of things.
Oh, and those guys are going to be traveling with you or those 20 guys. Is that your plan? Like to bring those guys with you so they can connect to the community and give them more knowledge of?
Yeah, exactly. First of all, we have to train them.
Yeah.
Right, and then we can deploy them, right, or they can deploy themselves, right? You know,
and just step right into it.
It's about like that exponential impact.
Yeah. So dealing with any of you guys had to deal with mental health on your own. Like, how did you guys get over it, or how did you guys talk and open up about what you guys were going through mentally with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, my dad was never in my life, you know, so my mom raised me and my two sisters as a single mom on welfare. So from an early age, I was really just to myself, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't say I really, like, I never went for the therapy. Back when I was growing up, like, therapy wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like nowadays it's definitely something that people talk about, you know, but yeah, no, I mean, outside of that, I've never been, you know, a victim of any violence or gun violence, thankfully, but
Well,
I think everybody has a little bit of their own kind of situation, you know, and they try to heal with it first within as much as possible. 'Cause that's how you kind of, society, like, you know, trains you.
That's the thing about traumatic experiences, though, is like it's a lot more common than people really think. Like it really affects everybody. You know, it's just the reality is the same experience can be kind of interpreted by two different people, two different ways, right? And some develop issues and trauma, PTSD, whatever it is, and others don't.
Yeah. So growing up in the neighborhood, was your neighborhood like gang activities in the 90s too, or?
I mean,
or you did grow up in the culture
we moved
too?
around a lot. Like early on, you know, I had more financial trauma, like seeing my mom struggle and not pay, you know, the rent, and then get evicted and have to go to our cousin's house, and like, you know, so for me, I was always scared as I grew older of not having financial resources. So, you know, I did what I could as early as possible to make sure that wasn't the case. You know, that's how I got started in cannabis, quite frankly, you know, when I was 14. I got out the house and just, you know, started selling weed and, you know, paying for my own shoes and clothes and
becoming independent.
Yeah, becoming independent. So, but I feel like that also shaped me as an entrepreneur because, like, you know, at an early age, there was no school. It was like, you got to learn money. You got to learn how to
financial
budget,
education.
You got to learn how to make money, you know, be proactive and make deals happen. Like, you know, so there's certain positive things about that I always like attribute my, you know, success in general of like entrepreneurism and like
fucking learning business, man.
Yeah, just
handle money.
I feel like that's always the case. You know, you try to do what you can do. You know, if you're in those environments.
You guys grew up in the same neighborhood or friends, or you guys just met each other through like mutual friends recently?
Yeah, he grew up in Southern California.
Okay.
I grew up in Northern California, but then
You moved out of here to Chicago?
Yep.
Yeah. But like for me though, like man, like going back my background, man, I've been exposed to a lot of violence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways and forms and fashions. And
were you raised in the culture too, in the gang culture and all that too, or?
You know, I mean, yeah, I don't like talk about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, just it was all like family, you know, all around.
Yeah, my family too.
But yeah, I mean, like I personally never really got, you know, too much involved with that, right? So, but regardless, I mean, like for me, probably getting shot multiple times, like that was the most traumatic activity or something that happened to me, right?
How old were you?
It was tough. I was 20.
Okay.
I was 20, yeah.
How many times did you get shot?
3.
3 times?
Yeah.
Where at?
Right at my ankle, my arm, and then right here on my shoulder. I still got a bullet right here behind my collarbone. The one that fucked me up the most was actually my ankle because it shattered my ankle and my ankle shattered the bullet. All right, and so it was a fucking pain to get through. But
every time that we're walking around, it's funny. I got a funny story. So we'll be walking and I'm always in a rush, and I'll have to I'll be reminded because I'll look back and Ambrose will be like 10 feet behind me, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot his foot because it starts to hurt after a while.
Yeah, but you know, I guess my point is this: like, you know, I 10 years, took 10, 15 years before I was really mentally over that shit. You know, and so I look back on that time, right, and everything that transpired, and I'm like, man, like it probably would have helped me a lot, you know what I'm saying, if I had some counseling or some shit, you know what I'm saying, back then. So that was my real purpose for like you starting the organization.
Yeah, man, I fucking had to jump from a 3-story building to get out of a situation, and I'm grateful. I just broke my collarbone, fractured 3 of my ribs. I also collapsed my lungs, but. I could have 30 feet, bro. It could have been like worse. My could have broke my spine. The same broke my hips, my pelvis bone, something. I went to the chiropractor recently, man. Just going through that, and just like coming back and had to tell my kids that shit though. You know what I'm saying? Like they were still young, and it's just being like in a situation where I shouldn't have been. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. Now you're lucky you walking.
Yeah, for real. I'm lucky to be even fucking walk you guys in this motherfucker. You know. And just going through that as mental health too, man. Just like not having really, I didn't have my dad till I was like 14 through like 19. But at that point, I never really allowed him to be a dad either, though, because he wasn't there the whole time. Going through those 9 through 12, 13.
That's when you need him the most.
Yeah,
right?
and you're
like,
trying to, you got questions that can't get answered. But I still observed him being a man that he was, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for that, like I picked up a lot of his tendencies just from watching him. And he was a good dude, you know what I'm saying? So, for the most part, I think it conflicts to the man I am today and shit, like how I stand. But because I used to be an introvert, man, I'm like self-esteem. I might not look it, though, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I was, like, low-key, just chill, like, to myself, kind of shy and shit, you know what I'm saying? This shit opened me up more because I could just talk to more people like me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ask and talk about situations that I go through. But you guys can relate to situations. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like experience. We'll never know what it's like to get shot and fight for our life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Until we get shot 3 times and then we understand what the hell emotionally you go through. So that's why it's harder for people to relate or don't listen to your story because motherfuckers don't understand what they've been, like that shit means. You know what I'm saying? And getting shot at, it's fucking getting traumatized. I got shot at plenty of fucking times. Just being in the neighborhood, you know? I'm grateful I never just got shot before, you know? Go ahead.
No.
But I did get stabbed right here in my neck with a fucking beer bottle. And it's like a quarter-inch away from my jugular.
Yeah, man. Beer bottles, man, that's crazy. You know, like I never realized back in the day, like, you know, if you ever did get in a fight with a beer bottle, like you get charged fucking like attempted murder and shit.
Yeah. But I was 19 in a bar, so it was crazy because after I got stabbed, I didn't realize it. I was walking up, I get up, my sister starts screaming. Because we're in a bar, and she just sees it. I look in the mirror, and I can see all just blood right here. And I just walk out, and the cops were outside as soon as they're like, yo, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, they're fighting in there. But this side was all clean, and this pocket was all bloody, and he just walks right past me and go that way. And I just hit the alley and get the fuck out of there.
But that, you know, but now you can see, like, why, you know, as more and more people, like, learn about what it is we're doing in space, like, there's a lot of like people that are like, yo, I want to fuck with you. Like, hey, I want to support you. Like, you know, it's resonating with a lot of people. Yeah,
that's good too, man. That's why I started the podcast too, just to bring more people like you guys to tell you guys a story. Because you know what I'm saying, everybody goes through shit, especially entrepreneurs, man. You know, like going through. I've been doing it for 13 years too, and it's just like by myself of just learning new crafts, new shit, people who you could trust, who you can't trust. You know. And it just sucks that we got to have those boundaries with people because motherfuckers weren't raised to be, you know, loyalty and not in this day and age anymore, you know. You don't know who you're going to meet, come across, or, you know what I'm saying? Because and then being in a cannabis community, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys dealt with your fair share of people who you had your doubts about. Like, yo, we got to watch that guy.
No, it's interesting. I was thinking about it the other day, right? Like, you know, I've been working on this for 5 years, but really this is like the first real company like I've really led, right?
Yeah.
And so like even just like a year ago, you know, we had like the same 6-7 people, and that's it, right? In the organization. And then I was counting the other day between all of our companies, the number is like 78 employees.
So how's that, man? Like
we got to do a celebration at 100. I was thinking about that recently.
Crazy.
I knew it was just like in the 60s or 70s, but
that's fire though. How do you guys feel about that though, man? Like to be able to have like 70 team members helping your dream grow.
It's. I mean, yeah. For me, it's great to see like now there's different silos of the business and there's more support. You know, even though there's a lot of work that everybody does, right? But it's good to have some of that spread out a little bit now.
Yeah.
For me, it was part of the plan, right? So it's just like, hey, you know, everything's going the right direction.
Yeah.
You know, within a year from now, you know, that number should be, you know, doubled, right? So, you know, that the ability, obviously, to create a workforce and provide jobs and opportunities and development and coaching, like, to lots of different people in different areas, like, that's the benefit of being able to run an organization like this.
So how are the challenges of you like leading the organization such as it's going now? Like the challenges for you.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'd say the main characteristic that I think is unique is like you always have to see the light at the end of the tunnel and be able to, like, you know, communicate that to people. Even if the light, right, like really it's like if this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, like a low probability of all of them happening, like you have to have that constant mentality, like that's what we got to do regardless. Like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter how, but that's what we got to get to.
Yeah.
Got to be optimistic at all times.
keep your mind open, huh? Yeah. And for your products that you guys offer too, you got Bloom going, right?
Yeah. So we got Bloom, which is our vape brand. We got our disposable surf pod that's out in the market right now. It's, you know, one of our more successful products.
Yeah.
It's in 140 stores out of about 165 right now. So we're in most stores. We've got Lobo, which is our blunts, our premium pre-rolls. We sell a 7-pack of half-gram non-infused pre-rolls. And then we've got our blunts, which is a 1-gram hemp-wrapped glass tip blunt and a 2-gram Presidente the same way. And then Old Pal, which is like our value cannabis brand. We've got a bake-at-home brownie box coming out soon. We've got a 2-pack of pre-rolls with Old Pal and a ready-to-roll, like a roll-your-own cigarette pouch. Comes with papers. It's a pretty cool product.
What do you mean roll-your-own cigarette pouch?
Yeah,
It's going to have like a
bugler,
special?
like the little tobacco
like
ones.
Ground flower, you know what I'm saying? Like ground flower is kind of like tobacco pouches. Like, and you got the papers right there, and you can roll your own cigarettes.
Just a
it's
hold
on the go.
like a pouch.
Yeah, like a pouch of weed.
I thought I was going to be able to roll your own
papers.
joint like in the
Oh,
pouch.
no. It comes with papers. You got to roll it, you know.
Yeah.
It's already ground and everything. But and then we've got some infused sriracha, some infused honey coming out.
No shit.
Yep. We just did a partnership and a release with Cannibus Lux. So it's Tiffany Woodman. She's someone in the cannabis space that's had an accessory business and a brand and wanted to launch some cannabis products. And so we partnered with her and we just did a rollout of some mood-based cannabis premium, mostly focused on terpenes. And we've got a rose cone coming out with her. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the works.
Yeah, multiple kind of in-house brands that we're working on, and my target is between next 60 to 90 days, you're gonna see them. You're gonna see them on shelves. One product out of each, like 3 new brands.
So coming up with like your design for your Bloom surf, the design and the technology for that, what went all in? Can't you speak? What went all into that, man?
So 2 years of trial and error through the creating the surf pod. So the surf pod is one of the most popular devices right now. It's shaped like a surfboard. It's a disposable, and it's just a very hot product. It's got a lot of different features. It's got a tinted mouthpiece, so if you if you leave your vape out and the sunlight hits it, it won't degrade the oil. So
that shit happens.
Yeah, like the regular 510 cartridges. It starts oxidizing and it degrades the oil
from the power of the sunlight.
So that's why Bloom's, the mouthpiece is tinted. It's intentionally tinted for that reason. So it deflects the sunlight.
Oh shit.
It's got a triple air intake, so you taste more of the terpenes. You get a lot bigger, kind of more milky hit. You don't have to charge it, so it's just completely disposable. You just use it when you're finished. You throw it out. What else? Yeah, it's sleek. It's nice. A lot of people like it. It's affordable.
Got both classic and live, strain categories, right?
Yep. Our Maui Wowie and our Pineapple Express are the 2 most popular strains that we carry. And then on the live side, it's a live cannabis-derived terpene. So those strains always change seasonally, every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always keep a nice thick lineup. Bloom's doing really well.
What are some of the live strains we got right now in stores?
Banana split cereal milk. That one just came out. That one's crazy fire. It tastes just like cereal milk. It's crazy.
Flour? Or
It's
the
a
vape?
disposable vape, yeah. Blueberry Gushers and Alien Jack, our sativa. Yeah, that was the more recent round.
Yeah.
Over at our dispensary in Tilton, do we have green crack?
Yeah, we've got some special editions down in Tilton. Our dispensary, we usually keep a few exclusives down there.
Yeah.
You know, so we got London Pound Cake and we've got green crack.
Damn.
Yeah.
So how
So the menu's getting thick.
Yeah.
But that dispensary is going crazy too, man. It's a unique spot. Did you go to our grand opening?
No, I didn't get to. I had a gig that day.
Damn, you missed.
Yeah, man. I fucking, bro. Like I miss out on a lot of events, bro, because of the photography gig. Like I'll be so busy, bro. Like the Saturday, Sundays is the podcast now, so I got to squeeze them shits in after the podcast. Sometimes I have gigs. Like tomorrow, I got a gig, and then I got a Peer Space booking tonight after you guys. So it's like just always moving, man.
And be on the move.
Plus with the 5 kids too. You guys got kids, by the way?
Yeah. We both got kids. I got 2 boys, 3.5 and like 1.5.
Yeah,
they're a handful right now, right?
They're fun, man. I love this shit.
Yeah, I've got a son that's 2 and my daughter's just turned 9.
Oh shit! So I got 3 at home. That's like 4, 3, and 2 right now. 3 girls, and they're like.
Wow, that's crazy.
Last night, man, I brought home some Nerf bullets, and we had a Nerf gun already. So they were just fucking. If I would have never showed them this, they would have never been up an extra hour and a half because they just wanted to shoot it over and over and over again, and they all wanted to take turns. So I had to sit there and fucking take turns with them, man. So like balancing the time with everything you guys got going on, man. How do you guys do that with family times and running businesses?
It's a work in progress for sure. It's always a work in progress.
I mean, I think we both do pretty good. I know I see Alex doing different things, and he's still, taking kids on the family on vacations periodically, which is good. Time to get away.
Yeah.
Like me myself, I got this kind of ritual every day. I drive my wife and my kids. I dropped her off at work and dropped them off at daycare, and then at the same time, her dad pick them up. And then I just revolve, like my work life revolves around that.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Because doing all the traveling and everything that I did as a photographer, it's just like, and then plus the first 2, my baby mama was being tough, giving me access to them all the time. So, and then boyfriends got involved, so it got even tougher. Like you guys all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this time around, so I just try to spend as much time with my daughters now, at home. So like I try to not to do as much work, but it tends to be still much work for especially everything we added in, man. So before you started this business, did you have any other businesses before running experiences?
Nah. Honestly, I really just focused really for 10, 15 years on trying to train myself to be able to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked in healthcare, right? I went to UIC. Worked in healthcare, and I from the very beginning when I got in the workforce, I was reporting to the CEO, and so I just learned a lot of things along the way, and then I went into a specific specialty around operational excellence, and I did that for 5-7 years, and so I got a real good foundation, I think, that to build on.
Yeah. What about you, bro?
So me, I've always been an entrepreneur. I came to Illinois. Actually, I was investing in the real estate, real estate down in the south side of Chicago. Mostly focusing on low income housing. But I've always been in cannabis. Since early age. And had some success in the California market early on. My group had invented the plastic pop-top bottle, the child-resistant bottle, like the joint tube that you see today. It's the pop-top bottle.
The plastic.
Oh, no shit.
Pop-top.
Yeah, so we were real early in cannabis and all facets of from retail early on to that was the first company we took public, and that was in 2015, and then invested in some cannabis brands, and built a little real estate portfolio.
So you just moved up here to do real estate. You were planned on like jumping in the cannabis community or cannabis game.
I wasn't, I was always, even though I was here, I've always still, kept a place in California and, had business, investments there. And so I was always invested in cannabis, not as much as an operator, because I grew up an operator for many, many, many years. And then I started turning it into real estate. And then once we took Kush public, then we had done, more investing into brands, and then I was investing in real estate only. I had nothing cannabis related here in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And then 2018, I was here doing real estate, and that's when, Governor Pritzker said that, they had passed, or he had, set out the application for the rec adult use licenses, and that's where me and Ambrose linked up. We met through a mutual contact, and then applied for some licenses. We won, and then came up with a pretty big plan to leverage all different areas of people's expertise. Ambrose obviously, kind of leading the organization and highly skilled in operational excellence and structure. And, me, I'm more of, build, create, move fast. And, for me, I'm not quite as organized and structured as him. So it's always, we work really good and counterbalance, I think, in our skill sets. And the rest is history. We came up with a pretty big plan, and then we've just been honestly just focusing on like little wins, and then you just compound the little wins, and then you get to the final goal. That's the plan, So that's kind of been a little journey.
So when you guys started the fashion, bringing that integrating into the cannabis community, man, that was like something new too, man. That shit was pretty dope. I never even seen nothing like that before.
That was intentional.
I'll tell you where the idea came from, right? Like, back a few years ago, I was just looking at the landscape here in Illinois. I'm like, man, like, California's got all these cool, like, annual festivals, things like different things, right? Like, and so I looked to like Hall of Flowers, right? Yeah. And I was like, man, how come we don't got, anything like that, like in Chicago, that like really represents the people, right? And so I was like, man, I should just make something, right? And so, I kind of came up. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna copy, right? Like I don't copy. So I was like, I think their festival is like more B2B, like where I was like, I'm gonna make an expo instead that is geared towards highlighting brands, and specifically in Illinois, trying to like give all of the craft growers and new operators and infusers a chance to like get their brands out there to the public. Like that was the focus, and I was like, well, I don't want to just do an expo because like anybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to switch it up and try and create an environment where people come more dressed up, and we do a fashion show right afterwards, right? And so, that's pretty much how we got into fashion.
Yeah. Because it was the venue, Site Studios, was it?
Yeah, Sin City.
Sin City.
Sin City, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was nice, mapped out with the stage and everything. You got all the vendors. The bus was there, which is cool as hell. A big ass bus.
We had just got the bus finished like 2 or 3 days before that. So
no shit.
timing, yeah.
I seen the video when you guys got it, and then you guys got it all wrapped up and everything fixed up.
Oh
yeah, that shit was pretty dope. All well production.
Dope as fuck, bro. Like, and the production was done really well, yo.
Yeah, the whole storyline too. We talked about you getting shot too in the video.
Yeah, that was a good production.
Yeah, man.
I really liked that video.
And then who was the fashion people that you had there? The designers, you remember?
So Hippie. So October kicked it off.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker is dope. That was his first time doing a fashion show. Man, he killed it.
Yeah, that was great.
Man, like
it was a lit ass because I seen the retake on the video, the recap.
Yeah. We had another designer called Hippie Hugh. We had Obiama who closed it out. I think I'm missing. Who am I missing?
Yeah, there's one other one. I forgot.
Don't hold it against me. That's the other thing too. Is like that that's why we have a team.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
Because I can't fucking do everything.
That's why I said I didn't mean to put you on the spot right now, but man, it was a cool thing to see. Watch the whole thing come together finally too. After last year that it didn't happen, and then the following year it finally happened. It was cool. It was real cool to see for you guys finally get your dream to happen, you know.
There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love out there for sure.
There's a lot of people that showed up too, man. It was a good time, bro. It was a lot of people.
It was safe, you know. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah, it was cool as hell. It was literally right down the street from here. It was like 15 minutes away.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So pull it up, man. Kush League, how's that? What's that about?
Yeah, so as Ambrose mentioned, we got some plans to release some of our brands that we've been working on that are curated by us, you know, for us here in Chicago. And so Kush League is meant to be like a sports themed brand that's more focused on an active, you know, lifestyle and balance of cannabis. And, you know, I was a former athlete. I played hoop for like 20 years, but, you know, through college, and I always consumed cannabis, and there was always this guilty, like, and it's at the time such a stigma about like you know, smoking, and you get drug tested, and you know you couldn't use cannabis and perform, right? And then now you're hearing completely the different. All the stories are coming out that's false, and you know. And so like for me, I wanted to build a brand that was like really athletic, kind of facing, and kind of rival like a Nike, you know, more of that kind of vibe.
Okay.
So we've got you know, we've got some products on the way, you know.
So you're gonna start.
Let me just sum it up. They call it the Nike of cannabis.
So you're gonna be like the next big three too, man. You're gonna start a little basketball league, dog, at Kush League.
I've been you know, I've been approached by some people to do something. You know, a lot of people, you know, are vibing with the brand. We've been working on it for like 2 years. You know, but yeah, we got some good concepts. I'll share one with you that I'm excited about. Is we're gonna do a special like breeders collab, and then do the flower, the 8th jars in a mini Nike, like a shoe box that has tissue paper.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
It'll be a dope little collab that we'll do with different breeders, you know, focusing on their specific strains, the notable strains.
So are you guys' strains your own? Like, or do you use clones and sorts for your brands?
Yeah, we've been working on a menu. So for the last couple of years, our growers, you know, have built a nice little library of genetics that we're excited about. Yeah.
So what does it go for that? Like, what are the time that goes into building a new strain for yourself, or an organic strain, or
it's
genetics?
A process, man. Like, you gotta do a lot of breeding, and the thing is, you know, cannabis is just different, right? In terms of the time where you can see results from something you're trying out. So, you know, the normal process from the time you flower a plant until you harvest a plant is 3 months, including the cure time. So if you want to make adjustments, then you got to wait another 3 months to try that, right? So if you're crossing genetics and, you know, you've got seeds from that, then you've got to grow the seeds. You know, if you're growing from seeds, that's probably 4 months, you know, to germinate the seed and then veg it and then flower it. So yeah, it's a process. I mean, if you're really a breeder, like, that's why there's, you know, low key in the cannabis industry, there's some celebrity breeders, because they're the few that have taken the time and the patience to build, you know, a nice library of genetics and go through that process. Because it's not you don't make a lot of money if you have a lot of duds, you know, throughout that process that, you know, you have to sell for less money or they don't yield as much, you know. So yeah. But when you get a nice library, then you're basically taking the best of the best.
So cross genetics, you meaning like you're like mating two plants basically almost?
Yeah, a male and a female plant.
So you'll take some like Afghan Kush or something like that, OG, and put it together, and then create some Afghan OG.
Yep.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know it gets all like that scientific, man. I just like smoking weed. Like,
there's a male plant, a female plant. The male plant has pollen. And then you collect the pollen, and then you sprinkle the pollen on the.
And then you got to wait 4 months to see if that even produces a seed or anything like that.
Yeah, probably about 3 months, or 2 months for, 2 months,
and then what's the process of that fucking up? Like what?
Well, I mean, you're just hoping that whatever your genetics are strong to begin with, right?
Like the original strains, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that they're strong. They don't have.
Now they're talking
viruses.
about terpenes. What are terpenes? You guys know more about that?
Yeah, you know,
terpenes.
Right. So, terp kings, right? Like, actually, so that relates to another brand that we're launching called Terp Kings, right? And so like the idea behind that brand is to really focus around like flower that has either a high terpene percentage, right, or a unique terpene profile, and really start to kind of shift the narrative around how do you define quality weed, right? You're not just using the THC percentage and saying like that's what defines the value, right? And then lastly, trying to do it in like a fun, unique way in terms of like the marketing and execution. So, yeah.
So what are the terpenes?
So terpenes is just a chemical within the plant, right? And it's similar to like just a molecule like THC, right? And there's different combinations of them that create like different scents and different feelings and things like that, you know.
Oh, as far as like the mood of it will put you in a state it'll put you in.
Yeah.
So like the higher terpenes will put you in a sleepier state or happier state, or it depends.
It depends on what terpene, right? Like that's the different aroma.
Yeah, like pinene.
So,
pinene is a terpene that
like an OG strain is real piney-ish, right?
Yeah.
You have more fruity, like Blue Dream. Is
So
blueberry.
that scent or that aroma basically is the terpene. Basically, you get.
It's more dominant. Like the more pronounced the terpene is, the more dominant it is. And there's different types of terpenes.
Oh shit.
Like lime.
You know about it.
No, I don't. I never really did know. Like, bro, I just smoke weed, bro. Like, I never really looked into the terpenes and shit like that either. Like, I never really looked into.
It's just.
I know there's strands,
right?
yeah, and I just never really looked into it. And like, it's a common misconception about Kush and coffee, right? Like, people think you're gonna come on here and talk about like coffee and shit and Kush, and, like we're reviewing and shit, but it's really based on the conversation, bro. We might enjoy some Kush and coffee while it's on the show, but as far as like really knowing the knowledge about it, I really.
Yeah, you really didn't offer us any coffee.
Yeah, no, it was.
The last time we came here, the big Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I'm already fucking wired because I had one this morning. So I was like, man, I don't know if these guys are going to drink some afternoon. I know you were out last night. Seeing you taking a little partake in the wine, right? You had a little cup of wine?
Sangria. Yeah.
So I know I should have got some coffee. I apologize, though, man. But appreciate you guys coming through, man, and rocking with me again, man, this time, I promise it's coming out, man. Anything you guys want to talk about before we get out of here, man? What you guys got coming up? Any kind of events, future plans for 2024?
Man, it sounds like I should have something to say with all that. Right?
I mean, we're opening 6 more dispensaries. So we just opened our first one. It's called Parkway Dispensary. It's down in Tilton, Illinois. You can follow us on Instagram at Parkway Dispensary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Next to Parkway Dispensary, we got a little consumption lounge, restaurant and bar, event space, indoor and outdoor. It's pretty dope. Called Molly's Joint, right? So that's also right there, right next to Parkway Dispensary. So you can follow them at Molly's Joint. You know, at the end of the day, right, we represent the 1937 group, so you can obviously look us up, whether it's on, on Google or, on IG at the 1937 group.
Thank you for coming through again, man. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is Bray from Boo Man Forever. Much love, man. We out. This is Kush and Coffee Podcast with Ambrose and Alex, man, from the 1937 group. Make sure you tap in on IG. Mm.